90s edition of Yoko and Frisky's Dimensional Rift Part 1. And we have our co-host, Frisky.
I'm wearing my parachute pants and I got my Discman on, and I'm ready to talk 90s nostalgia because in the year of 2020, it is the 30th anniversary of the 1990s.
It is. That it is, my friend. It is also the year of Drama for My Mama. What do you say?
Yeah, if you guys wanted a PS5 episode, well, you're going to have to wait because our guest overslept. So instead, you're getting a throwback to the past. You're going to get some nostalgia. You're going to get Snick. You're going to get, Legends of the Hidden Temple. You're going to get Clarissa Explains It All. You're going to get Moesha, all of it. And you're going to love it.
Living single.
But yeah, we were waiting for our guest. We were gonna do a PS5 episode, and then I told her about this song I was writing. It's about 90s nostalgia, and we just started going back and forth. And we're like, hey, why not just turn the mic on? Let's get it on wax for our listeners. They're dedicated, and they deserve to hear about our childhoods. What do you say?
Absolutely. Y'all gonna be listening to this and be like, oh my gosh, I remember that. We want our nostalgia berries to be plump and ripe for the picking.
Yeah, and the last episode was Power Rangers fan fiction, so I'm just gonna kick it off with the Power Rangers. That was my show growing up, and I have a scar on my right wrist because allegedly, as what my cousin tells me, allegedly I was pretending to be the Red Ranger, and at 3 years old, I punched a window and I broke it, and I had to get stitches. So that's where the scar on my right wrist comes from. I was pretending to be Jason. I was fighting some putties, and now I'm damaged goods for life.
Wow, you sound like that girl in that one song that I heard from the 90s.
I'm a bitch. I'm a lover. No.
Right.
But yeah, man, that was my childhood. Like, I just loved the Power Rangers. I loved the action, the fights, the costumes, the monsters, the music. Yo, do you remember the music?
Oh, dude, I had the Power Rangers Turbo album, and I wanted the Green Ranger. They had like an album with the Green Ranger on it. It was like on tape, and it gave you like an episode summary. Heck yeah.
Oh yeah, man. When the Green Ranger showed up, he kicked everybody's ass, man. Like, he goes into the Megazord and he punches Trini right in the face, yo. Like, if he did that today, it would be considered a hate crime. But since it was, 1993, it was all good.
1993.
But I was like a big fan. I watched the original season all the way to Time Force. And then by the time they got to Wild Force and they were doing animals again, I just got kind of bored. I was like, nah. But those first 3 seasons, they're classic. You see them with the Dinozords, and then they go into the Shogun Zords. It was the Thunder Zords. And then they went to the Shogun Zords and the Ninja Zords. And they had the movie with Ivan Ooze. And I didn't see that movie when I was a kid because I was 5 and Ivan Ooze scared me. So I did not see the movie in theaters. Can you believe that?
I totally believe that. Chet. Now, Chet. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't see the movie. I saw Turbo in theaters. I didn't see the first one in theaters, but I sure as heck rented it, and I watched it with my cousin.
I remember one time I went to your house. It was for my birthday, and we got drunk, and we watched Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in the movie and Turbo back to back. And we had to take a shot every time Tommy did a tornado kick. And holy shit, he does a lot of tornado kicks. I was blasted. Pesky was there too. We were.
Yeah, and I was falling asleep, and you were like, "Oh, what are you doing, man? It's to fall asleep." And I'm like, You brought this on yourself.
I'm like, this is the best part, man. This is where they find the ship with the car key holes inside of it.
Run out, keep on running. They had like their own interpretation of that song.
Yeah, like in the first movie, they kick it off with skydiving, like right off the bat. They're like, yo, we have a movie budget. We're going to do skydiving for no reason. We're going to do inline rollerblading for no reason. We're going to have an extra pig character just for the hell of it who was never on the original show for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, you're right. I was like, where did it come from? I think I saw him in a Japanese rendition, but...
The Tengu Warriors, you know, they had their own theme song. They would just come in and be like,
Ranger's gonna get you. Watch that Ranger. Blah, blah. Something like that.
But yeah, during that time, ninjas were like really popular, so the Power Rangers had to turn into ninjas for no reason. Yep. Even
they
though
didn't really need it, but they had.
They didn't need it. They didn't need the ninja powers, even though they could do some cool things. Like I think they like duplicated themselves. They like would go underground and pop up behind you. You know, very gimmicky stuff. But it was their third season, so they had to like keep up. They had to keep people interested. And
then they were like, oh, I will never forget the preview, but I'm a frog. Oh, the frog has some cute attributes, and she's like flirting with the Black Ranger. Whatever. We're still talking about Turbo? I can't remember. Movies blend together sometimes.
No, Turbo was the one where he had the fucking minivan.
That's right.
And he was sad. Yeah, the actor was like, can I make a joke about driving a minivan? And the director was like, no! You work, no union! You work!
Makes me so
like,
sad.
oh. But I watched Zeo. Zeo was cool. It was like an upgrade. It was a good continuation of the franchise. They brought Jason back as the Gold Ranger. I have the staff. It's so dope. And then yeah, the cast would keep rotating because, you know, there was no union, so they were like, well, we're not working for dimes and nickels anymore, so we're going to a peace conference, y'all.
Yeah.
That's the Power Rangers equivalent of like taking your dog to the farm. It's a peace conference.
Damn.
You go to the peace conference, chances are you ain't coming back.
Oh yeah, that's right. Didn't it was one of the Black Rangers, one of the girls went to the peace conference and she was replaced with her friend. But then they were like, what?
No. What happened was I don't know, it was Lord Zed. He turned the Power Rangers into kids, so they had to get the Zeo crystal to turn back into adults. So Aisha goes to Africa to get her Zeo crystal, and then she's like, you know what? It's pretty cool here. So she nominates like a random girl from the tribe to go and take her place. And that's why Aisha's not on the show anymore. She just wanted to chill in Africa.
Meaning they fired her.
Yeah, forget about her parents or whatever. Her parents must be worried sick about her. Like, their kid never came home that night.
Oh my gosh.
Well, think about it. Like, you got to think about it.
I mean, you're not wrong.
But, yo, I
never really thought about it that way, but you're not wrong.
But, yeah, she was replaced with Tanya. And Tanya's way more badass than Aisha, in my opinion.
Ooh, you said it.
And Tanya, she had better outfits. You know. I mean, Aisha. Sorry, I'm eating bacon. Aisha, she had that big ass target on her head because of that forehead. You know, she would always get attacked. But Tanya, she didn't have that problem, so she was better at defense. And she had like a cute little friendship with Adam. I remember.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, Adam would teach her how to fight, which made sense because like. You grew up in Africa. You probably don't know martial arts.
You probably know how to survive, but...
You probably know how to, like, make a spear.
Damn.
Get some water.
Are you talking about Wakanda?
Wakanda? What kind of shit is this?
My question to you is... did you think? Actually, did you ship anybody? Because I remember everybody wanted Kimberly and Tommy to be together, and that just never happened. It did.
Did I ship anybody? Not really. I was too young to care about that.
I'm such a hopeless romantic. I didn't really like read. I didn't read too much into it, but I was like, they deserve to be together. I think, yeah, that's about right.
No, I didn't ship anybody. It's like I just wanted to see the fights. Like that's what I came for. The fights, the Zords. After Zeo, they did Turbo, which everybody hated. Everybody.
Why did everybody hate Turbo? I mean, I get it was a little weird.
People hated Turbo because they basically changed the whole cast. They replaced the whole cast, and then they hated Justin. People hated Justin because he was annoying. You know, he was a little kid on the show. He was like 12.
Oh, yeah. I didn't really hate Justin. I was just like, eh.
No, I didn't hate him either because he was really smart. He would solve a lot of their problems. He was in their high school because he was like a smart guy. But yeah, a lot of people don't like Turbo. And then they followed it up with Power Rangers in Space, which was supposed to be the last season. And that's why it's so good, because they really tried. They were like, all right, if this is the last season, we're going to go out with a bang.
I just remember having a solid beginning, middle, and end. Like, I went back. There's like a guy on YouTube who goes over every season of the Rangers. And it's he was talking about the keys and the plot, and that when rewatching it, that it deserves more. And I was like, dang.
No, you're right. Tight. You're right, but Power Rangers in Space was great. Like, Andros had that thing with Ashley, so it was like a cool little love story there. And you had, what's her name? Astronema. Fire the satellasers.
Fire the satellasers.
Who, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen Power Rangers in Space, turns out to be Andros' sister, who's the Red Ranger in that season.
Oh my god!
I know.
Which actually was pretty fun, so...
Yeah, it was really dramatic for a kid's show. Like, I was 8 years old when it came out, and I was like, holy shit, that's his sister? I was like, whoa!
Yeah, same thing.
So, it was a great season. It had a great finale. They killed off Zordon, which people are still pissed about.
Again.
But
how many times this man getting out of his Kool-Aid jar and almost dying?
But it really tied everything up. Like, those first 6 years are very tight because of the continuity. And then after that, they would change the cast every single season. So it wasn't the same, you know, because I was so used to getting attached to these characters for years. And then every season, they would just ship off a new cast. Some better than others. Like, Lost Galaxy, I don't remember it that much. But I remember it was cool. They had the crossover with the Power Rangers in Space and the Psycho Rangers.
And the Turtles, right?
Oh, yeah, the Turtles crossovered with Power Rangers in Space. I forgot. It was weird.
It was weird, because nobody liked that Ninja Turtles rendition because of Venus. And I'm like, leave her alone. It's fine.
She got turtle boobs. Fine. Turtle boobs.
Turtle boobs.
Yeah, Lost Galaxy. It was okay from what I remember. Time Force was really good. A lot of people love Time Force. And I'm missing one. Oh, Lightspeed Rescue. I thought Lightspeed Rescue was kind of boring.
I stopped watching after... Actually, I stopped watching Power Rangers when the aliens... When Billy was just, like, by himself with the aliens. That's when I stopped watching. And then I picked it up again with Turbo, and then I dropped it, and then Time Force. When Time Force came out, I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool.
Time Force. But yeah, like, we could spend a whole episode talking about all the seasons, but it's all about the OG Rangers. Those first 3 seasons, those were the best. You know, you can't replace Zach, you can't replace Jason, you can't replace Kimberly. And you definitely can't replace Tommy because he refuses to leave.
That's true. You know what the sad part is? That the Japanese Power Rangers were so different from our Sentai Rangers that they actually ended up translating our American version and redubbing it to Japanese, and it was its own season over there.
Yeah, that's how you do a show for cheap.
Mm-hmm. So what's next on the list? What's your nostalgia factor? What aside from the Power Rangers? What's next on your list?
Animorphs. I've talked about Animorphs on the show before, but for those who don't know, it was a book series about these kids. They find aliens. They're trying to take over the world, of course. They're called little slugs. They're called Yerks. And this Andalite, which is a blue guy who's like half horse, and
he's a centaur.
He's a centaur. A blue centaur gives them the power to morph into animals, pretty much, so that they could do like sneaky missions and try to like, you know, break down the Yerk's plans to take over the world. And there's these 5 kids. You know, they took the Power Rangers formula. You know, 5 teenagers with attitude, and they applied it to this alien invasion plot. Which at times it was a book for kids, but shit got real in that book. Like, people died, and people were it dealt with people were dying, people were being slaves, and you know there's mass genocide, and it's really dark for a kids book. Like, you could find this next to Arthur in the Scholastic Book Fair. And all this crazy stuff was happening. Parents probably didn't know.
And I said, hey, gonna get killed today. That's genocide in a kid's book. Yeah, I noticed that the kids' books would delve deep into death.
Yeah, they didn't hold any punches because, I don't think books had like a FCC or anything. I think they had more freedom to just tell the kind of stories they wanted without being watered down.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually knew that kids weren't stupid. They were like, kids are smart enough to grasp this.
Like they did with kids shows, because like I'm all about the kids shows, man. Back in the night.
But yeah, Animorphs, they went on for 5 years. They had like 54 books. I stopped reading at around 42 because there was a lot.
You're almost there.
I know. I was so pissed when I found out. Like, oh my god, I was so close. But the books have a lot of filler episodes. Let me tell you, like, they have a race where there's this race of aliens that they're super tiny, and they go inside one of the kids' bodies, and they have to like chase them into the they gotta chase him into the stomach, into the bloodstream. It was like a watered down Magic School Bus episode.
It's funny.
They have a book where they go to Atlantis, and they meet these like weird fish people, and they never talk about it again because they
that was a fan episode.
Yeah, like they have weird episodes like that, or weird books like that, because Kay Applegate, she stopped writing them around like 25. And
really?
She had a lot of ghostwriters. So the ghostwriters would come in and write these stories. She would be like, do a book about them, going to the mall and, fighting like a newscaster or something, or do one where one of the characters goes to Australia for no reason, just so she can morph into a kangaroo. Yes, that happened.
Yay! Some fun.
Literally, just so she can morph into a kangaroo. So,
dude, that's crazy. Cause so I'm gonna jump to Xena because freaking I didn't know this, but apparently, there was a whole Xena cult. And they were all gay people. I didn't know. I didn't know until I got a book and I looked up the author, and the author of this book was basically a fan fiction writer, and she became an actual writer for the TV show. So she went from fan fiction to published author to script writer. Like, wow. What a dream. Are you there? Uh-oh.
I'm here. I'm just.
Oh.
I'm here. Just
Oh. I was like, oh no! But like, think about it. Xena has done everything. I feel like she's done everything, and when I mean everything, she's she turned into a man. She was reincarnated. She died. She got reincarnated again. She got pregnant. Had birth from her enemy's baby. Then from the enemy's baby, she got frozen in time. She got frozen in time and went back in time to her time. And then she died again, and she went to heaven. And then they were like, no, you can't do what you're doing. And then she went to hell. And then when she went to hell, she went back to heaven to go get Gabrielle so they can go back to Earth and get their bodies. And I'm like, what the And then they had filler episodes with, who's the guy from Ash from Evil Dead? Yeah, Ash from Evil Dead would be
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell, yeah. Bruce Campbell was there. I freaking loved Bruce Campbell. He was a thief, and he would always get Xena in trouble. Then there was Joxer, the sidekick. And he didn't want to be considered a sidekick, but, you know, he is what he is. And it was the coolest, like, I could watch that show kind of like how Golden Girls would be. And then there were some serious episodes. And when I mean serious, it would be like, wow, I don't know if I should cry or not. Or, wow, this hurt me. Like, passionate. Show was passionate. Until the end, where you all got screwed over. And when I mean everyone got screwed over, the ending was just really, it was a cliffhanger, and they canceled the show.
Aww.
So, like, imagine the Power Rangers having a segment where Tommy sacrifices himself, and they had to take his power to release everyone's soul into the universe, which is I'm pretty much describing what happens at the end. Sorry, spoiler. And then, bam, he has a chance to be reincarnated, but we're just going to cut it off.
That's basically every Power Rangers like anniversary special. Like Tommy is always like the chosen one. But I remember Xena had a crossover with Hercules.
Yep. That's how she got started. If it weren't for Hercules, Xena wouldn't have gotten started. But she outlasted Hercules by 6 seasons, and Hercules only had 4.
Ooh. Wow. Showed her. A man opened the door, but she smashed through it.
Damn. He said she's... And that was Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah, Kevin Sorbo, he does a lot of direct-to-DVD stuff now.
Oh, it said he had 6 seasons, too. Never mind, I was wrong.
6 seasons in the movie.
Let me look at Xena's then. But they would cross over often. They would meet up. They'd be like, yo, man. Oh, they both had 6 episodes. But apparently, Hercules had 111 episodes. Xena had 134 episodes.
Oh, take that. That was in the name of feminism.
Yeah, that show just makes me feel good when I'm feeling down. So, your turn. You go. What's your other nostalgia factor show?
All right. I'm gonna do a movie. Let's go Space Jam.
Space Jam. It's getting a sequel.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Yo, Space Jam was my furry awakening and perhaps my sexual awakening? ? Let me explain.
All right. Let's dive deep.
I watched Space Jam in theaters 4 times. 4. I don't think I've ever watched a movie more than 4 times in theaters. And I don't know. I was at the right age for it. I was 6 years old. And it's Michael Jordan and the Looney Tunes. It's like, everybody loves Michael Jordan. Everybody loves the Looney Tunes. That was like lightning in a bottle, my dude. Also, fucking killer soundtrack. I had my first CD off the Space Jam soundtrack, Fly Like an Eagle by Seal. That was the first CD I ever owned. It was just a single. And I still have it in my phone to this day. Like, that's my favorite song ever. It's beautiful.
So good.
It's beautiful. And then you had R. Kelly before We Knew the Truth. But he still had a banger. I Believe I Could Fly. He had the Monstars rap.
Yeah.
Hit him high, hit him high, hit him low, hit him low. You know, you had Come On and Slam into the jam.
Damn.
Everybody get up. It's time to get down. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, that's
such a good.
Yeah, that soundtrack was the shit. It was awesome. But what kept my focus was Lola Bunny. Moment of silence for Lola Bunny. Dude, that was like my cartoon crush. I had a Space Jam pillowcase, and I would make up with that Space Jam pillowcase.
Listen, so when I was little, Kids WB was promoting Space Jam, and I would go on their website and print out the coloring book pages, and it was phenomenal. You get to color in Lola. I got a Space Jam art book. Yeah, I really like Lola too. Similar reasons to yours.
Yo, they made her. She was a thought. They turned her into a thought. Am I wrong?
She was a thought. She didn't really have. Okay, everyone's gonna be pissed off at me for saying this, but Lola did not have a personality. She had basketball powers. That's about it.
She was a sex object. She was an object of lust for bugs.
Yes. And like when you think about it, I got a Sports Illustrated issue of Space Jam. I think I still have it. It was my favorite because I got to see the stats of all of the basketball players, which were Bugs, Daffy, Lola, Taz, and of course Michael Jordan. And freaking, they gave everyone's birth date, and it had Bugs was born in 1930 something, and Lola 1996. And I was like, oh my god, she's only 1 year old. Bugs is a drama. I was really thinking that.
Ew.
I was really thinking that as a kid. Like, who thinks that? Yeah, Bugs was born in 1939. I don't know. Who knows? Who cares? Point is, I was little and I thought too much about it.
That's like Wolverine and Rogue getting together.
Ship them. I don't know why people ship them. Stop it.
Just stop it. Stop it. Yeah, that movie was just great. Like, it was really fucking wacky. They had so much product placement. You know,
it did.
Like Big Macs, Nikes, Gatorade, you name it. Underwear, Heinz. But I haven't seen it in a long time. I wonder if I saw it.
Netflix.
Yeah, I wonder if I saw it again today, if I would feel the same way, if I would enjoy it as much, or if I would think it was the stupidest thing in the world. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a rewatch, and maybe we'll have a full episode just on Space Jam.
You can do a rewatch later today if you're here today.
I gotta work because my job decided to put me back on Saturdays right before summer begins.
Delicious.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Oh God, I don't wanna.
Yeah, dude, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
But yeah, I'll toss the ball back to you.
All right. Coming back to me, Saturday morning cartoons were my jam. I would get up every Saturday, 6:30, watch the crappy cartoons, then wait till 8 o'clock when the real shit began. We're talking Rovers. We're talking Batman the Animated Series. We're talking that one anime that no one would really care about until later, Yu-Gi-Oh! Then we would have Digimon. Digimon premiered. Oh my gosh, that was just so unique. And Pokemon too. So then there was this rivalry against them, a silent rivalry. So
it wasn't silent. If you were on the playground, you were either a Digimon kid or a Pokemon kid.
It's true. It's true.
It was like Sega versus Nintendo,
Yup.
which is also a thing.
Sega versus Nintendo.
Here's the reason why I like Digimon better than Pokemon. It's simple.
Mm-hmm.
It's called character development. The characters change in Digimon. You know, they become different people. They learn things. Ash Ketchum, what does he learn? He didn't learn shit. He's the same character for the last 20 years. Maybe.
Ash and I are technically the same age if he grew up and had kids.
Yeah. If maybe back then he was a little more cocky and arrogant. Now he's more like mellow and chill and maybe wiser. I mean, I haven't watched the show. I'm just going by what I've heard. But listen, man. You can't keep that kid 10 years old forever. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
Digimon, the kids grow up.
It's funny you say that. Fans, even kids, are saying, like, dude, we want Ash to grow up. Can you please?
It would be a very cool storyline. He could become like a gym leader. That would be really cool to see. Or, you know, make him part of the Elite Four or something. There's a lot of directions you could take the character with if you just grow him up. But that never happens. Because, you know, it's a cash cow and they want to keep things simple.
Yeah.
But yeah, Digimon, you see the kids grow up. Like every 3 years, they'll grow up and get a little older. And then you see them where they're at in their life. You know, some of them are doing good, some of them are not. And that's interesting to me. I love it when a cartoon, you know, grows with you. And they have the characters grow. It's very cool. You know, I don't think they did it well in the Rugrats. But that's the story for another time.
Definitely. Video games back then. I feel like video games are better now, but I always thought that I sucked at games. But then I come to find out after watching like hours and hours and hours of these YouTube videos who are talking about how hey, these programmers didn't care. They just wanted your money. And my grandma would be like, these video games, you spend the money and you lose it and they take your money at a time. Oh, gum. Yeah, they're stealing from you. They're geniuses. They're geniuses, you know. I'm like, dang, Grandma, that's not true. I just don't think I'm good. And after watching, you know, Did You Know Gaming and several other YouTube channels, they just proved to me that I wasn't bad at these games. Some of them were just unplayable.
Oh, yeah. Like the old Nintendo ones.
Oh, go ahead.
Those old Nintendo games are designed to just make you kill yourself.
Well, I had Sega first, and then when I got Nintendo, I noticed like the graphics were better, but at the same time, it's tough because it's like you like one or the other. They were like you were either a Sega kid or you were a Nintendo kid, and it was one of those battles. But overall, handhelds rule them all, in my opinion. So I guess that's a Nintendo thing.
Ooh, did you have a Game Boy or a Neo Geo Pocket?
Game Boy, the original. I still have it. I have to hit it, get it to work, but it works.
I grew up with Nintendo 64. That was my first console. And I remember renting one from Blockbuster and having it for the weekend. It just changed my life. I was 6 years old and I was like, I could do so many things with Mario. I can make him do whatever I want. I felt like a slave master.
Oh my gosh. Living the dream.
JK. Black Lives Matter. Anyway, we bought it after, you know, I test drove the one from Blockbuster and I got Mario 64 and Mario Kart. And man, Mario 64 was a trip. It was a trip because it was a challenging game, but it wasn't so challenging that I couldn't like progress. It was just the right amount of challenge.
I was terrible at that game. Versus when Sonic Adventure came out for the Dreamcast, I beat that game in one sitting, and I was like so proud of myself.
I would have came in and been like, "This is a baby game."
Yeah, right. Sonic is clearly the more mature property over Mario.
No, Sonic got his own episode. We're talking about Mario.
Dang.
Yeah, so
Shelf.
I played with my cousin. She really liked Mario. We would just like get the stars together. She would play the ghost levels because those ghosts in Mario, I fucking hate them. I think
they're scary.
They're scary looking. I don't like them. They're just really creepy. Even to this day, like I could play it now, but to this day, I'm looking at them and I'm just disturbed. I don't want that anywhere near my vicinity. We beat Bowser. To beat the game, you don't have to get all the stars. But real players, real speed runners, they get all the stars. And it took me like 5 years to get all of them. And when I did, I called my cousin down. I'm like, "Oh my god, look, I'm about to get 100 stars." And I did it. I got all 120 stars. The cannon in the lawn opened up and it shot me to the roof of the castle. And then Yoshi's there. And I'm like, "Oh my god, what do I get? Do I get more levels? Do I get new costumes?" I get 100 lives. That's it.
Oh, snap.
100 lives when I beat the game already. And a new triple jump. Whoop-de-doo.
Oh!
Like, what's the point?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, what's the point, man? Where's the new game plus, Nintendo? What am I going to do with this new triple jump? Drown myself?
I have to go and do it. No.
Yeah. But
for me, it was the PlayStation. You had 64, I had a PlayStation. I didn't really have Dreamcast until like when I was in college, but my cousins had the Dreamcast and they didn't care for it, so I would always play with theirs.
Oh, you took it in as a refugee.
Huh?
You took the Dreamcast in as a refugee? Yeah,
pretty much. Crash Bandicoot was my PlayStation love. I remember I only got the third one because my cousin had the first two, so we played that together. And I beat the first game on my own, and then we replayed it again. Like it's a very fun game. I didn't realize how linear it was compared to Mario. Spyro was I think a better platformer, but to me, Crash has better character appeal. But people will argue that dragons are cooler than Bandicoots. You know.
Hey, everybody loves dragons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a PlayStation. I got one a few years later, and Tekken 3 was my game on the PlayStation. I didn't have a memory card, so every day I would play through arcade to unlock all the characters, and then the next day I would have to do it again because I didn't have a memory card. It was great.
Oh, I hated that. Man. Yeah, I remember going to Trinidad, and I had to bring my games because, like, I had 7, Final Fantasy 7, Spyro, Crash, Crash Team Racing. I play Mariah Carey every time I play Crash Team Racing.
What?
I got them both for Christmas. Crash Team Racing and Mariah Carey. So, like, I'd start playing it over here. Give me your love. Give me your love. Give me your love. Give me your love. And I'd be like, yeah.
She had a video game?
Crash Racing? Yeah.
No, Mariah Carey. She had a video game?
Yeah, I mean, she might as well have been in Crash, you know.
Oh, man. I thought she had, like, a glitter beat-em-up. Like, where you play her character from Glitter. You're just beating up record executives.
Mariah Carey video game. I know she had a stupid movie. Ooh, Game Wars. That means she was voicing a mobile game.
Ugh. No wonder she's canceled.
You know, it's for the kids.
Gross. Listen, PlayStation had classics. Undoubtedly so. Yeah, many
So
classics. But Nintendo 64 had the games. It had the party games. You had the 4-player support, 4
many.
slots, 4 dockets, 4 controllers. You had, I might just list off the games I have. You had Mario Party, Mario Party 2, Mario Party 3, Super Smash Brothers, Bomberman 64. You had, Extreme G, Diddy Kong Racing. What else? There was a lot of games. Star Fox 64. I'm like, you got Hey You Pikachu, Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Snap.
Hey You Pikachu was unplayable. Fuck that game.
Dude, I watched Pesky play that game and it was awesome. He was just like berating the shit out of Pikachu. And Pikachu would just be like, huh?
Pika?
But yeah, Nintendo 64 was the party system. They had a tons more.
Yeah.
They had a tons more games that I can't remember right now. But they had Clay Fighters. Remember Clay Fighters?
Well, dude, how many Clay Fighters were there? Wasn't there like 2? Clay Fighters! I remember Yoshel's bringing it to your house and,
and then
going crazy for it.
And then I banned them for life.
Yes.
Yeah, Clay Fighters they had the first one, then they had like a tournament edition a la Street Fighter, and then they had a second one which totally was broken because they rushed it out, and then the third one for Nintendo 64, which I played, I rented it from Blockbuster, and I was like, what is this crap? Yeah, I can see why that franchise just died.
Well, Clay Fighters died because of bad direction. Somebody had a researched all of that. It's pretty great. So
yeah, you had Rampage on the N64,
Yeah.
3 players, breaking cities.
actually,
It's based off of our favorite movie.
the movie that we really didn't watch.
So many good games. You had Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong.
That was a great game.
Conker's,
Shout out to my friend Sam. I know you love that game. Let's love that game together.
Conker's Bad Fur Day. That was the game you weren't allowed to play as a kid.
Oh, the controversial game where he smoked and drank beer.
Yeah. Oh, and I can't believe I forgot this one. The creme of the creme. GoldenEye 64. Come on.
I could not play it. It hurt my eyes. I actually got it from the dollar store. No, from Goodwill for $1, and I sold it for $40.
Wow.
It was like the luckiest day of my life.
Wow.
It was good.
You got any nostalgic movies?
What's the witches movie? That for some reason people were like going crazy for. What's that movie called?
Clueless?
The Disney movie with the witches.
Halloween Town? Hocus Pocus?
I feel stupid. Hocus Pocus. That's the one. Yeah. That movie, when I saw that movie, scared the crap out of me, man. It scared me. And then for some reason, there was another movie called The Witches, which was significantly scarier, where this little boy gets turned into a mouse, and his grandma had to, like, change him back. Like, if you look up a preview of The Witches, that shit was not a kid's film. It's freaking scary.
Was it more scarier than Alex Mack?
Doing laundry is scarier than Alex Mack.
Yo, let's talk about Alex Mack. We've been roasting. We've been watching old episodes of Alex Mack and roasting the shit out of it because nothing happens in that show. This girl has powers. She should be fighting crime, saving people. I mean, she lives in like East LA. I'm sure there's crime everywhere.
Dang.
And all she does is like, oh no, this girl doesn't like me. Let me morph into a puddle and spy on her.
Oh my gosh.
Or she's trying to get her friend laid, so she like makes a rose float in the air.
Oh yeah, she's doing a Cyrano de Bergerac where the one episode we were watching was her friend, her token black friend, was in love with this other girl, and his best friend was like, "I'll say stuff for you," and nothing happened.
Nothing happens. There was one where she had like a house party, and she had to turn the lights off. So instead of going down and shutting the breaker off, she morphs into a puddle, goes into the garage, and like shoots it with one of her sparks. Like, so extra. It's like, you could have just flipped the switch. You didn't have to do all that. And then her sister gets like a subplot where she has a gay friend, question mark? Like,
that was just so weird. It was like the show just veered off into something like different. We're like, what happened? What's happening?
And I remember as a kid, like I used to watch it religiously, like on Snick, where you had all the classic shows on there, like All of That, Kenan and Kel, Clarissa. Snick was the shit. Like Saturday night was lit. You had the big orange couch. You had your popcorn. You were ready. Like, it was perfect for kids who were too young to go out and socialize, so you had to stay in. Just have the sitcoms take you over.
Watched up. Yeah, we did that.
What was your favorite Snick memory?
Dude, favorite Snick memory was when TLC was on All That. And then Erykah Badu. That was so good.
Erykah Badu was on All That?
Yeah, she was.
Oh, snap. I gotta look that up. She was like, "Don't hurt me, baby. Save the rainforest."
Somebody torrented the whole series. I was like, yo, why would you do that? It was like 25 gigs or something like that. And he was showing the episode with Erykah Badu, and I was like, "Yo, I remember that episode." That was so good.
Yo, because All That had that classic cast back then. You had Kenan, you had Kel, you had Lori Beth, you had Josh, you had Amanda Bynes before she went crazy, before she went insane.
She had a breakdown. Something happened. I feel bad,
Dan Schneider happened. Dan Schneider probably licked her feet.
Ugh, stop. You make me so sad.
That dude, oh god. That dude is gross. I'm glad he got fired.
Was he the one who wrote Sam and Cat?
Probably. He made a lot of shows happen on Nick. He did Drake and Josh, iCarly. So probably that one too. But
who knows?
We'll save that for when he gets his own documentary on Netflix.
Of course.
But the game shows on Nickelodeon.
Oh yeah, dude, the game shows.
The game shows were crazy, man. You had the classic Double Dare. Every kid wanted to be on Double Dare.
Double Dare was phenomenal.
Yeah, especially the obstacle course at the end. I've always wanted to do the obstacle course because I feel like it was so easy. Because they were just like, whoa. It's like, dude, just focus. Just concentrate. It's not that slippery.
And you were like feeling for them. And then they had Nick Arcade.
Oh, yeah. Just people jumping on a green screen.
Yep. All those sounds. All those nostalgic sounds.
I know.
For Nick Arcade.
That was a good one, but you didn't get the really good ones until like around 93, where you had the back-to-back Global Guts and Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yo, Dwayne, the person on our server, was trying out for Guts, and he said that he did it when he was in his teens, and he said he didn't get picked.
Aww.
So should bring him on. But he works Saturdays.
Yeah, we should interview him. Be like, yo, how was your experience trying out for Global Guts?
You gonna show us the way.
It's gonna probably be like, I was waiting in line for 4 hours. They called me in for an interview, and then they said, we'll call you. Mm-hmm. That was probably it. But Global Guts was basically Ninja Warrior for kids. You had all these neat challenges that you had to do. They had like giant pools where you had to like swim around and stuff, or you had to like climb things, and you had to be fit. Like I couldn't do global guts because I was like fat. I was like a butter roll. I had asthma, so I would have died on global guts. They would have canceled it if I went on there. But I just loved watching it though. I was like, yeah, man.
I like Legends of the Hidden Temple the most, and there was another game show.
Figure It Out.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, Figure It Out was alright. It wasn't as exciting, but it was cool because they had like people from all that come on. They had like Pete from Pete and Pete. Mm-hmm. He was there all the time. They had Amanda Bynes there all the time. Lori Beth. And it was funny because they were making jokes.
Yeah.
And I think
Lori Beth. She was the oldest one. Can you believe it?
Yeah. She still looked good, man. She looked good for her age. But Legends in the Hidden Temple, I think that's another show I think every kid wanted to do. They wanted to do the obstacle course at the end. That was the main attraction for Legends of the Hidden Temple. We were like, yo, skip all this other shit. I have seen them go across the damn moat a million times. Let's just get to the temple run. Mm-hmm. And yo, those temple guards be like jumping out like Michael Jackson at Neverland Ranch. They be like grabbing kids and shit.
Oh, yeah. Actually, someone had a blog, I think it was like a Reddit forum of kids who were on that show, and they were saying that they got PTSD from the temple guard.
Really? I'm not surprised. Yeah. They're scary, man. They just pop up out of nowhere. I get nightmares.
Ooh, yeah, they would get nightmares. Actually, the person said into their adulthood that they would imagine the temple guard getting them because they would rough up the kids a little bit.
Oh,
grab them.
That's wow, man. They need I would read that tell-all book. If one of the kids just wrote it, I would read it.
Let me see if I can find it again. Let's talk about something else while I find it.
I was going to ask you, what would you rather do? Would you rather do if you had a chance to choose, like, would you do the aggro crack or the temple run?
I would want to do the temple run, man, because, like, I know I'd be able to figure out those puzzles. Every time we've done a puzzle room, we would get out. I would solve something. So,
Yeah, those poor kids couldn't figure out the silver monkey, which is like super easy.
Well, apparently it wasn't designed correctly, according to this person's journal. And even when they would put it together, because it was made out of styrofoam, it was never cut right.
But there's 3 pieces. It's like, come on, it can only be a number of different ways. And you know what the head looks like. It's just either the biggest piece goes on the front, the bottom, and then there's the smaller piece, and then there's the head.
Oh, yeah.
And even in the made-for-TV movie which came out a few years ago, they made fun of that scene because they had the kids in there figuring it out for like 6 hours.
Oh, yeah. That was funny. Wow, it's true to the show! Yeah,
I would love if they remade that series, but game shows don't do well on Nickelodeon. They're just not that profitable. Well, you can't make toys off of them.
First of all, there are old people now who run these studios, so they're like, I guess I should go on Facebook. They don't know. They don't know what folks really want. Like, if we ever did a Legends of the Hidden Temple, if we had to write it, you and I had to write a show, it would at least be decent because we would get the elements right. But the only problem is, even if with the elements being right, it's the execution.
Execution.
You know what I'm saying? Basketball Jones. I got a basketball Jones. Okay, go ahead.
All right, well, what else can we talk about in the 90s? The Spice Girls, man. We got to talk about some sugary pop. See, you like the Spice Girls. I'm gonna tell you what my pop group was.
Zest Club 7.
Shut up! You don't know me.
Come on, dude. I knew it. They were like, because they had their own drama show.
They had a TV show on Fox Family, and
family.
they were like they were like the Spice Girls, but they had boys in the group too. There were 7 of them, and I really love their music. Like I had their CDs and everything, but they weren't really popular in the U.S.
Yeah,
they were really big in Britain, but here in the U.S. they were only really known for the show. But on the show, they would perform all their songs. So I was like, hey, I like this music. It's really fun. Like even to this day, like I'll like pop on an old school song. And be like, S Club, it ain't no party like an S Club party. Yeah, sure.
Do you think they started the boy band, girl band TV revolution? Because I noticed a lot of shows, teeny bopper shows, had bands in it. Moving forward.
Yeah, they were the progenitor of the pop group TV show. I think so. Because Backstreet Boys never got one. Spice Girls, they got their own movie. They just jumped to the big screen right away.
They did.
I don't remember if I saw that movie. Did you see it? Spice World?
I did. Don't worry, you didn't miss anything.
Is that like good for bad movie night?
Oh, it's fantastic for bad movie night. It's just, the movie had no plot at all, but I loved it for not having anything to do with anything. It was just fun. Would I recommend? Not really.
It's a time capsule. If you go and watch that movie, you'll be sucked right back into 1998. It's like Austin Powers. You know, when you watch an Austin Powers movie, you're back in 1969.
Yeah. Oh man, Austin Powers.
I would love if they brought back Austin Powers, but it would be considered problematic by today's standards.
Well, first of all, he when I watched it, the second one, not recently, like probably like 2 years ago, and he was very much so about consent. Even though he was a sexual being, I admired him because he wanted to have sex consensually, and he never pressured anybody.
That's true.
So it was fine.
That is true. You heard it here first. Austin Power is a pioneer for consent and women's rights. Yeah, there's so much. There's so many, like, we can, like, do a whole episode about the movies from the 90s. There's just so much.
Oh, my gosh. There's just so many.
Like, okay, the other day, Rush Hour was on TV, and I was watching it, killing time for work, and it holds up so well. Like, it's still funny. The action's still good. The music's still good. And I just wanted... Rush Hour, man. Chris Tucker, man. And The Fifth Element...
love that movie.
Yeah, they just...
I hated it at first because I didn't understand it, and then I watched it from the beginning to end. Great movie.
Yeah, the movie's a classic. It's constantly quoted, you know, multi-pass, all that. Lulu Dallas multi-pass. And it got an honest trailer this week.
It did?
Yeah.
No way.
Which is funny because I could have sworn, I'm like, didn't they do this years ago? Like, this doesn't have an honest trailer? But yeah, the honest trailer was pretty funny. You had Bruce Willis when he actually gave a shit about acting.
Bruce Willis giving a shit about acting.
Yeah, and Mila Jovovich before she had the Resident Evil franchise.
Now she's going to be in that Monster Hunter movie.
Great. I'm going to put it on my calendar so I can avoid it.
Ouch.
Well, speaking of calendars, Wonder Woman got pushed back to October.
Yeah, because they're like, no, we want her to be in theaters. We don't care if people die.
Womp womp.
For the honor of Wonder Woman.
Yeah, there was so many classic sci-fi movies. You had The Matrix, of course.
Yes.
Which, still holds up. They're coming out with a Matrix 4 next year. Hopefully they won't blow it.
I don't really care if they, I'm not. Sometimes I think it's just property should just stop because like there's supposed to be another Ghostbusters this year, and I'm asking myself why. Or just no more. I'm done.
Well, Keanu Reeves, he recently put out an interview. He said like the script is really good, and Keanu Reeves turned down Speed 2 because the script sucked. So if he thinks The Matrix 4 is worth doing, I have total faith in him. Because Speed
Okay.
2 was a garbage fire of a movie. Like, the first one was on a bus. It was excellent. It's a classic. The second one is on a freaking cruise liner. What's so scary about being on a fast cruise liner? If there's no icebergs, you're good. You're Gucci, man.
Dude, it's one of those days.
Yeah. But
It is one of those. It is one of those things because like all of those '90s movies, they all had a very similar gimmick, and it started to get worse in the 2000s because it feels like 1980 to 1999, everything was cool, and then 2000s hit, like shit was just getting worse to me in terms of movies, and then by like 2007, I was like, I'm done.
when the 2000s hit, things got more serious because of 9/11, I think. And
Oh yeah, that makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah.
So people started doing more serious, gritty movies as opposed to like, the wacky ones like Speed. Like Speed is a crazy premise. There's a bomb on a bus. If it goes below 50, it explodes. Like you're not going to get a movie like that anymore. It's just too wacky.
Unless it's a Saturday night popcorn.
Yeah, unless it's like a parody or something, like or a comedy. Like you're not going to get that anymore. The 90s, they took more risks. Like we wouldn't like The Matrix was like a huge risk. It was just really weird, and it had its own lore, its own atmosphere. You also had like stuff like the Addams Family and
Yeah, I love
Casper.
it.
Very creative movies that it still resonates with people. You had a lot of disaster flicks too, like Twister,
Oh yeah, I
Volcano,
remember Twister.
and you had that god awful Godzilla movie.
Didn't that come out in 1998 or was that 99?
It was 98. But
Then they came out with a cartoon that was actually better.
yeah, ironically, you had Men in Black in the 90s. You had Independence Day. You had a lot of cool weird stuff. You had Scream, which was a whole meta take on the horror genre.
Yeah, I remember.
Like,
So many people loved that series, and I was too scared. So
yeah, like I still love it. Like they're talking about making a Scream 5. I'm like, please don't. Like it's fine the way it is. Don't make a Scream 5. But back then, now we're used to like all these shows and movies being meta and pointing out like, oh, this is weird. Scream was like the first one to like really like do it. Like
Green.
Scream.
Oh, Scream. Sorry. I was like, what? I thought you were talking about. Yeah, funny enough, the character from Scream is in a horror game called Dead by Daylight, and he's a guest character.
Who, Dewey?
Yeah. Here, hold on. Dead by Daylight. Green. So, I mean, to me, reboots don't work unless they're a comic book, a cartoon, or a video game, because you have to put more time into a video game than you do a movie, in my opinion. I mean, it also depends on the movie, but most video game reboots have been solid compared to the rebooted movies, which have been either rehashes, poor rehashes, just sad, sad, sad.
Yeah, in the 90s, you had a lot of original IP in terms of films. You had the first Jumanji, which
Yeah, the originals.
that was cool as fuck. A board game that comes to life. That's a great premise. You had a lot of cool comedies.
Still holds up. That movie still holds up too, I think.
Yeah, it does. It's a great family movie. You had all the classic like Robin Williams comedies like Mrs. Doubtfire, Jack.
Hmm.
You know, of course, some of that would be problematic by today's standards. Oh, cross-dressing woman.
Oh yeah.
Whoa. Or someone had a problem with Jack. I forgot what the problem was. I think it was him trying to date Jennifer Lopez when he's technically 10 years
Ooh,
old. I don't know.
10 years old. Yeah, that
But
stuff.
but yeah, man, you had the Jim Carrey Renaissance. You had the Will Smith Renaissance during that time. Tom Cruise was doing it big. Like that was the decade of like the movie star. Like if you saw like Will Smith on a poster, you'd be like, hell yeah, I'm watching that movie.
Oh
I,
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
care if it's
Man,
Wild Wild West. I'm gonna watch it.
yeah. And I think Wild Wild West was the day that it bred the steampunk era.
It gave birth to it.
Yeah, I really think that's what it was.
Yeah. There's so much, man. Like all the Jim Carrey movies, Ace Ventura, Batman Forever. Oh Jesus.
Oh, Batman never.
Oh, those Batman and Robin. Ugh.
I love those movies because I can leave them on in the background while I'm cleaning. It's a motivator. It's not really a, oh man, this movie changed my life. It's more like a, man, I remember going to Burger King and getting a glass of this.
Yeah, me too. That was the best part of the movie. The glasses you can get. Yo, like the movies were just really wacky during that era, man. Like they just went balls to the wall with their tone before everything
Mm-hmm.
became about Iraq, the war and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
the one good comic book movie that decade was probably Blade.
You wait, what?
I said this was before the comic book era of movies that we have now, but the one good
Yeah,
comic book
yeah.
movie that came out during that time was Blade.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. To be fair, I never saw Blade. I never did.
What?
I want to see it, but you're right in the fact that everyone said the same thing. A and B, it just looked better. I mean, I only saw a little bit.
I'm gonna watch Blade with you, sweetheart.
Let's do it.
We're gonna fix
Got a
that.
lot of time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. Do you want to wrap up this part? I think we got a good chunk of it covered.
Yeah. Well, for part 2 of our 90s session, we're going to bring on some special guests. And this way, everybody else can relive the nostalgia with us because lunchboxes, original cell phones, we didn't even cover everything. There's so much to do.
Capri Sun, Lunchables. Lunchables was like my diet in elementary school.
Gibbers.
We gotta talk about some of those weird commercials that they had.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll definitely come back with a part 2 in the future. Until then, summer is starting. And, it might be hard to go on vacation, but I hope you guys have a good, safe time. If you're protesting out there, please be safe. We support you guys 100%. And just love each other. The world
Love each
needs
other,
love.
man.
Love each other.
This is a time for change. Don't let those adults who can't really function without love ruin your life. Let's all be love.
Exactly. So, here at the Dimensional Rift, we wish you good fights, good night.